Hello everybody. Glad to see you again in my backyard. This is where Linda and I shelter in place, even though the governor has raised his restriction and is allowing us to get out. This still feels like a comfortable place to bring this update. Let me share a few things with you today. First of all, we're responding to, well, let me start this way. Earlier today, I spent time in a Zoom meeting with about 10 of the other Pflugerville pastors, so that was informative and helpful information to bring to you. By the way, I was the only Baptist, and all of them, regardless of their denomination, are facing these similar situations, and we had a good conversation about the similarities between our situations and some of the differences, but it was a very good meeting. And then right after that, I got into a Zoom meeting with about 10 of the Austin pastors, and again, it was very helpful sharing information. So I'm coming from all that to bring this information to you here this afternoon. By the way, there's rain in the forecast, but God is holding that back to give us opportunity to spend this time in this update. Here's our thinking at this point. Staff met yesterday, talked for a long while, about 2 hours, everybody bringing their input to the table, and that was a very good meeting. Our thinking at this point is the office is going to open this Monday, May the 11th. Now, we're kind of following your lead on this. This is evolving every day. But we're paying close attention to the governor and his council. We're also paying close attention to what businesses are doing. At this point, looks like we'll be able to open the office this Monday, May the 11th. Also, and this is going to be interesting to you, we think at this point the time to open the church for worship services only will be Sunday, May 24th. That's 2 weeks from this Sunday. Now, there are churches doing everything under the sun. Some of the churches opened up this last Sunday on May 3rd. Not many, but some did. And then, based upon my conversations today with other pastors, some are going to wait until June, even the end of June, to open up their facilities for worship. And that's based, of course, on meetings with their elders, with their councils, and that sort of thing. So there's no mold. We're just paying attention to what everyone else is doing and paying attention to our own situation. And based upon primarily our own situation, we're looking at May 24th. Let me just share this with you. The thing that's driving me in the midst of all of this is I want to do what is the least risky for you, the congregation of First Baptist Church, Pflugerville. I don't want to do anything to put your health at risk. So we're not in a hurry to do anything. I would rather, to tell you the truth, I would rather not be the pioneer in this. I would rather not be the one who's leading the charge in opening our facility. I'd rather let some of those other churches pioneer that ground and be the coal miner canary, if you will. I want to see what issues they face, what problems they have, what benefits they have in opening their churches, and that gives us time from this Sunday, May 10th, Mother's Day, until the 24th, to kind of look at all that and analyze all of that before we attempt to come back together. And of course, we'll do that one baby step at a time. The other thing that's kind of driving May 24th as a good date for us is the technology. We have been doing live streaming throughout this quarantine, and it's worked very well. And I'm hearing from everyone, we want to continue that as we move forward. And I agree with that. So we're going to continue live streaming. The issue with live streaming is at this present point, we're using all of our equipment, all of our technology that we would normally use for in-person, face-to-face, on-campus worship. We're using all that to do the live streaming. We don't have enough equipment, technology at this point to do both. And we're going to have that before we can continue. So our tech team is telling us we have to buy some more equipment and then get that installed. And that's going to take them until May 24th. So that's another thing that's driving this date. We're going to give them time to order this equipment, get it on site, install it, and kind of test drive it before we want to use it in both on campus and live streaming. And that'll take us until May 24th. I wrote some notes down. I haven't been following my notes at all. We're going to be changing our worship time from 10:45 to 11. Let me tell you why. The reason we're doing this is because grow groups will be making no change on the 24th. We want grow groups to continue using Zoom, and Mike Northern, of course, is going to be in contact with you regarding all of this. But grow groups will continue as you've been doing, using using Zoom to meet on Sunday morning. But here's the thing, if we're going to start meeting on campus, we have to give you time to have your grow groups there at home and bring that to an end, and then pack up your car and be up here for on-campus worship. And so we're thinking that 11 o'clock is about the time we need to do that. That'll give you time to wrap up your grow groups, get in the car, and come up here and participate with us at 11 o'clock. And as always, we haven't changed any of this. This is only for those of you who want to. If you have small children, you're going to have to make a decision whether or not you want to come participate on campus. We're going to have no provisions for children, so you'll have to make a decision whether or not you're going to want to do that. We're still recommending that everybody wear masks. We're not going to be having our police enforce this at all, but we're recommending that you do wear masks for this first Sunday. But we're going to start at 11 o'clock on campus and give you time to finish your grow groups and be up here. We'll change all the promotional and everything else. We'll be talking to you more between now and the 24th about what all that involves. There's no need getting into the details of all that now. As you would recognize, and I certainly recognize, this is an evolving, very fluid situation. Things change literally daily. So as we watch other churches, we may come up with other changes. As we look at our situation, we may come up with other changes. But we'll be talking more about the details of that between now and the 24th. If you have any issues with us or for us, be sure and email those to us, and be sure and call the office. Text us if you would prefer. Use our Facebook, but communicate with us those issues. Let me say this. I think we need to benefit from this time we've been in this unusual situation. Surely there are benefits we can gain from this. Surely there are benefits we can gain from these next couple of weeks as we continue in this quarantine, although it's relaxed. What kinds of things can we benefit from? Here's one thing I think we should benefit from. I think we should have been and should continue to be learning how to rest. Soul rest, don't you? Isn't that an important thing? Let me take just a moment and share with you some of what Scripture has to say about resting. Now, I want to begin with an unusual passage. Psalm 131, verses 1 through 3. Listen to this with me, if you will. This is David. David says, "Lord, my heart is not proud. My eyes are not haughty. I do not get involved with things that are too great or too difficult for me. Instead," David says, "I have calmed and quieted myself like a little weaned child with his mother. I am like a little child." Now what David's talking about there, this is an interesting passage. What David's talking about is a small child depends upon his mother's milk and thinks he has to have his mother's milk in order to live. But what David is saying is there comes a point where a child realizes, I don't just have to have my mother's milk. And he learns to live without his mother's milk. He weans himself from that. One of the things I think we should have learned over this time of quarantine is there are a lot of things in life we thought we had to depend on, but we don't. We can live without those things. We can simplify our life. We have simplified our lives. And I think that's good, don't you? I think it's good that we've learned to live a more simple lifestyle. The psalmist says it was good for him. I think it's good for us. I think if we gain anything over these last couple of weeks in what we consider to be difficult but providential experience we've been through, is we should have learned how to simplify life. And I think we should hold on to that. We should learn to hold on to that. I guess in step with that is, haven't we learned how to slow down? Haven't we learned how to slow down our lives? Haven't we learned how to, in the midst of living, haven't we learned how to rest? This is a big issue for Jesus. In Mark 6, verse 31, right after feeding the 5,000, Jesus was speaking to his disciples, and he said this. He said to them, "Come away by yourselves to a remote place and rest a while." We've learned how to rest, haven't we? It's been forced upon us, and anything forced upon us is generally unwelcomed, but whether it's been forced upon us or not, we've learned how to slow down. We're resting. We're pulling irons out of the fire. We've had to. We've pulled irons out of the fire. We've learned to simplify our lives, and we've learned how to rest. We've learned how to rest. And just one last thing, and Scripture speaks directly to this, and I don't want us to overlook it, is in Psalm 46:10. You know, the Scripture says, Psalmist says, let your soul rest. Let your soul rest. Slow down and be conscious of me, is what God says. Be still and know that I am God, is what God says in Psalm 46:10. Be still. Quiet yourself. Simplify your life. Pull some irons out of your fire. Be still and know that I am God. We've been through a difficult time here recently, but surely to goodness, we've learned this lesson. We need to be learning how to rest. And when all the quarantine is lifted and everything gets back to quote-unquote normal, I think this is something we should hold on to. Be still and know that He's God. Hey, 24th is a good date for us right now as we're looking at it. Write that down on your calendar. This is how we're going to plan. We're kind of in the middle. We have churches, like I said, who started last Sunday. We have others who are going to wait till the 1st of July to start. We want to hit it kind of in the middle here, the 24th. So put this on your calendar. We'll be talking to you more about this as the time comes. Office is opening next Monday. Next update I bring you will probably be from my desk there at the office. Okay? Love you guys. God love you. God bless you. See you this Sunday for Mother's Day.